Hey everybody, hey my shiny shinnies. Today we are doing the patch 14.3 notes. So I keep calling you guys the shiny shinnies, and I feel like a lot of you guys go one or two ways with it. Some of you guys go, wow, this is annoying, please stop doing that. And some of you guys run in and go, hey, the shiny shinnies are here. Leave a comment, let me know, do you like it? The more it annoys you, the more I'll do it. In this patch, we have the technically fourth patch of the season, because I did do one decent hotfix patch, but I'll call it the third patch because, it's 14.3. What are you going to do, right? 14.3. Okay, unfortunately, unlike my other videos, we don't have a lot of I'm not gonna be showing you guys a lot of stuff here, so feel free to put me on, use me as a podcast, listen to me, watch me, do whatever you want. Just get my average view duration up, so then this gets recommended by YouTube more and more people watch my videos. Yeah. So what do we got? We got Azir, Brand, Israel, Karma, Lilalalawa, Rengar, and Trundle nerfs. Wow, that's a hefty set right there. On the buff side, we have Asol, Nidalee, Pike, Shaco, Shyvana, Talia, Teemo, Wukong, Yorick, Zeri, and Ziggs. We also have some large adjustments coming in. These are actually large adjustments coming in for Corki. Decent adjustments for Alawi, large adjustments for Maokai. Ooh, I wonder what those are. As well as Zyra. I'm not going to go through the rest of this. We did too much here. This is too long of an intro. Actually, you know what? This is a shorter intro than I normally do. I normally rant for like 2.5 minutes and then forget that I'm supposed to be, making a video and not ranting. So Vanguard is being delayed again. Yes, this is being delayed again. Nothing more to say about that. Let's get to the champions. Aurelion Sol. Let's read through this here. Aurelion Sol's itemization is less than stellar now that Leandries no longer provides him with a mana alongside the removal of Crown of the Shattered Queen. On top of his high mana costs, Asol has largely been opting for passive and reactive playstyles rather than proactive ones. We believe that a world where the majority of his stacks are coming from proactive player combat and trading instead of stalling and passive farming is both more fun for Asol and healthier for the game as a whole. I disagree, but I'll hold my thoughts until after this, because he has to take risks to scale. So we're adjusting his mana cost to allow him more proactive in lane going forward. Will balance him around his QW driven stacking gameplay. Okay, I actually think that this is really a questionable change, in particular because here's one of the problems with changes like this. If Asol scales more based on hitting people, that means if Asol fights a bad player, even a player who might be like good, but let's say he fights, I don't even know, let's say someone busts out Scion mid, right? Then he gets a lot of stacks on the Scion mid, and even though he's not killing the Scion, and even though the Scion might not even be at risk of death because he's just scaling up, right? This gives Asol a bunch of stacks, which then in turn punishes the opposing team really bad, in addition to giving him a lot of stacks based on how many times the opposing, team dies to him and all that. So just generally, in my opinion, I don't like this. I think it's like both sides are bad, right? Stacking on champions is bad. Let me put on some music just kind of in the background so you guys can have that on, so you guys watch for longer. So it's not that big a deal. It's funny to me. Anyway, it's because I saw a YouTube video from another dude, and it was like, was it? Oh, God, it was like Pyro Cynical. I don't remember that dude. And he kept talking about trying to get people to watch longer as a joke, and then I thought about it, and that made me laugh. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, anyway, the problem I have with changes like this, stacking on minions is bad, stacking on champions is bad. I think both of these are bad for like game health. Right, if you're gonna be a late game Giga carry, I prefer to be like on like levels, like how Kale and Kassadin have level thresholds, stuff like that. Kog'Maw is like level 13, he starts Giga scaling. Aatrox is level 7 and 9, he starts Giga scaling, or at the very least power spiking for Aatrox, right? So I think those are more manageable, and it means that PvE and PvE and just generally playing the game contributes more to your champion. I feel like Asol has been a balance issue for a very long time, and I think that it has definitely been It definitely, I'm just saying it sucks if Asol gets to fight a bad opponent and then he gets lots of items, but oh wait, now he gets a shitload of Stardust stacks, and now his Q is absolutely annihilating me with its percent health, infinite scaling, right? Ugh. Anyway, so his Q mana cost is going down by 15 per second, which is a lot. He's getting 3 Stardust stacks every time he bursts a champion instead of 1. Astral Flight. Oh boy, it's... What? Astral Flight's cooldown is going from 22 to 16 to 15 to 11. That's a lot. And then the mana cost is going down by 30. How underpowered is this champion? Is he like literally useless right now? This dude better be like 45%. Where are you at, Asol? What? What? He's still 51.79, sorry, 76% win rate at the low ranks, 51% win rate at Emerald. He only goes negative in Diamond, Diamond 2, and Masters. These are rather significant, but okay. So the W mana cost down by 30, cooldown down significantly. Damage bonus to his Q from 14 to 20% damage bonus to 18 to 26% damage bonus. Then the Stardust stacks generated by the Singularity are down across the board. Down on Champion Takedown, down on Epic Monster, down on Cannon Minion, down on Large Monster. But not really by that much in the grand scheme of things. Large, like, Epic Monsters, Dragons and stuff, he loses 3, so he's down by 3, right? Cannon Minion, he's down by 1. And then on regular champion, or regular minions, none at all. So early in the game, he's only losing 1 stack every 90 seconds. But then in return, he generates 3 stacks. There's only 1 cannon minion every 90 seconds early game. So he only needs to hit an opponent with his Q once every 3 minutes to equalize that. Wait, am I reading this right? This can't be right. There's no way. Stardust chest per champion, epic monster, cannon minion, large monster. Wait. Asol is about to be like 54% win rate at the low ranks. Maybe even higher. Unless I'm reading this wrong, I don't think I am. He gets more damage on his Q during his W, less cooldown on his W, less mana cost on his W, more stacks on his Q, less mana cost on his Q. Okay, let's read these. Maybe they typoed something. Q mana cost decreased. Stardust stacks per champion burst increased. W mana cost decreased. Cooldown decreased. Bonus damage during Q increased. Nope. Okay. Okay, you know what? Okay, you know what? What? Sure, I'm gonna move on because my brain is breaking. This might be Ride's dumbest goddamn decision they have done in a long time. I remind everybody, this champion at the low ranks right now is a 51.76% win rate. And they are, I'm gonna move on with my life. Azir's base health regeneration decreased. Base health regen down by 2. Cool. Azir's broken. I mean, at the very least, they're nerfing one of those stats that like really affects him. It being stupid, I guess. Health regen is a stat that doesn't seem like it does a lot until you lane them. And one of the problems with champions like Azir is it's really hard to hit him at all. And if you can barely hit him and then he heals up a lot, it really screws with the game's health. Yeah. Brand. So I guess I'm saying this is a good change. I would like to see his scaling reduced again, but whatever. What are you going to do? Right? Won't listen to reason. Brand. Okay. So Brand's damage to monsters from his passive is going from 220% down to 200%. And it is capped. It now only does 2% max health damage. That's it. It can do no more. Then the amount of damage he does on his Q is going down by 10 flat at all ranks. Cool. Okay. I I mean, but whatever. He probably, if I had to guess, I can just type it in there and change it. Yeah, okay. He's kind of dominating mid at the low ranks and jungle at the low ranks. Wow, this will not be enough to balance that out. No, it will not. We'll see. Probably not. Maybe this bug fix is more than I give it credit, because I don't know how much it is right now. It says it can't deal more than 2% over an entire application. How much was it doing? 4, 5, 6, 7%? I don't know. Anyway, Corki, large rework going on here with the Corkster. No one make fun of me for calling him the Corkster. Okay, but the Corkster is getting a change. His package duration is going from 60 seconds to 45. This will give teams a lot more time to, well, I should say a lot less time to have to deal with him when he has a package. This means it won't be Corki grabs the package, runs to a team fight, and then his team just zones everybody out with the package until they do the dragon, right? This gives people a little bit more time to, like, you know, maybe they zone or poke or whatever, and then the package runs out and then they can play normally. Valkyrie, the mana cost is going down by 20. I don't know if I like that. One of the ways you actually played against Corki in the laning phase as a melee character was you would constantly force him to Valkyrie away, and if you did that, he would quickly run out of mana because it cost 100 mana each time. While probably not being that fun for Corki, it was also not that fun for his opponents to have to deal with the high burst poke kite champion, right? Anyway, the mana cost is going down by 20. The cooldown is going from 20 to 16 to 20 to 12, which is a rather significant buff to his mobility. The damage per second is getting its AP ratio buffed from 40% to 60%. And then Malignance no longer procs Eclipse. So a single missile barrage no longer procs Malignance, which procs Eclipse to then poke people to death. Okay. Ezreal got overbuffed. Shock. Insane. No idea how that happened. Incredible. That's jungle, not bot. So Cork, your Ezreal, you know what? We need to go and we need to actually check the tier list itself. Yep, his pick rate is giganastromal. That's a word, don't ask. His pick rate is wow, okay. He is, what? Ezreal almost has 2 times the pick rate of the number 2 pick champion. How come, you know, I won't even ask. Corki, okay. Ezreal almost has 2 times the pick of the number 2 pick champion. It's actually shocking to see a top laner in the top 5 here. Well, I mean, this is kind of the problem. You first pick Aatrox in basically every situation. In the situations you don't, you just pick K'Sante. And then if I had to guesstimate, yeah, everyone's just playing Aatrox into K'Sante. Or K'Sante into Aatrox. So, yeah, that's just sort of happening. And then because everyone's banning, we're not even talking about that. I don't know why I'm going on a tangent right now. Anyways, Mystic Shot AD ratio is going back down from 135 to 130. Then his True Shot Barrage is going back down from 120% AD to 100% AD. I saw Ezreal all chunked like a fourth of a team out earlier. For an ability that the dude can spam off before a team fight, then during a team fight, then after a team fight, it sure does suck when your team just kind of gets ka-chunked into the ground. Wait. Overall, these changes paired with the item buffs should still be a net buff compared to his power level in 14.1. I really don't think he needed that much of a buff, though. I think Riot ran into a problem with Ezreal where they were really, really stupid. And they didn't realize that he got buffed after 14.1 launched. And he got buffed pretty hard. And his win rate ended up being 49.91%. This includes the day or two before he got buffed. Exclude that day and it would be 50%. So that's why he is now 30% pick rate, which I'm going to be dead honest, you guys, that is nearly the highest pick rate I've ever seen a champion. And a champion who's hard like Ezreal should not even be near this pick rate. So this is bad from Riot to even consider that this might even be close to balanced, but okay. Big nerf to his True Shot Barrage, small nerf to his Mystic Shot. Overall, barely even affects him. I'm gonna be real, because the champion's pretty goddamn OP right now. No champion should have that pick rate. Okay, so Alawi's getting a little bit of a rebalance uni. Her tentacle range is going up from 800 to 925, so her tentacles will reach far longer, giving her more ability to reach into the lane from either side, giving her more ability on like the split or the Baron fights to hit people out there with her tentacles, right? But in return, the damage per tentacle is going down. Let's read their reasoning here. The map changes introduced in 14.1 resulted in a drop of power for Alawi, mainly due to her tentacles being designed around the old terrain spacing. In this patch, we're looking to make her tentacles more reliable on the new rift. However, that reliability means more overall damage, hence the tentacle damage reduction. Overall, the two changes should be roughly neutral, but feel far better for the Kraken Priestess. That's fine. I'm gonna be honest. As frustrating as this champion is right now, I don't think she's like, if I had to look, yeah, I mean, she's not doing bad, but like, she's not doing good. I don't think Alawi should ever actually be viable. I think she'd always just be like, I think she should be good enough to pick, but like, she's one of those champions who like, if they ever even come close to viability, they literally ruin the game for everyone. So just something to think about. At either rate, yeah, this is probably fine. I don't really see anything down with this. I think this might overall be too much of a nerf. I'm gonna be honest, because like part of the problem is this range really doesn't do that much if she actually gets a fight. It will buff her, so they're giving her a little bit of a nerf as compensation, which is fine. But like in your I guess it gives her more space to fight, right? I don't know. I'm just gonna move on. Anyway, Karma should be nerfed into the ground, forgotten, never buffed again, and eliminated from human existence. Why? Because, oh my god. Movement speed buff, slow. Movement speed buff, slow. Root, movement speed buff, slow. Root, heals. Movement speed buff, slow. Root, heal. Movement speed buff, slow. Root, Giga Nuke. Wow, such a fun champion. So good. So fun. Wow, that's crazy. She got good top lane and mid lane again? Could it be because she has massive base damage that's hard for any melee character to avoid, making her a good top laner, but also has extremely hard to avoid Giga Poke, making her good against mid laners who don't tend to have much survivability, but also she's got a movement speed buff and a slow and a root, making her a good support? That's crazy. It's like the one thing we balanced her on, not scaling very well, you removed. It's like, just give me an idea here. Anyone type in the comments. What do you think? What if we made Darius really fast and we removed his one drawback? I think that might make him OP. What if we removed Karma's lack of scaling? Wow, maybe that would make her too strong. You think? Wow, that's crazy. I heard Freak was really annoyed that Karma was getting banned this much. And he was like annoyed that they were gonna have to nerf her. Like, does Riot realize that Karma is being like played a lot and is being triple picked a lot, and everyone is busting out this champion a lot? Like, I don't know what to say, Mr. Freakazoid. Wait, are they not nerfing Akali? Wait, am I going crazy? Wait, they're not nerfing Akali or Twisted Fate? Sorry, my brain, this company, Dude, I'm not saying you should balance entirely on win rates, but I feel like you should use them to like account for things. If everyone who's good at the game agrees, let's ban Akali. If everyone who's good at the game is obliterating everyone with Twisted Fate, then maybe there's something to it, right? Now look, if you want to balance on pick rates, that's fine. But like, in my opinion, you should only really balance on pick rates if something gets like crazy out of control, like Ezreal, right? But ban rates and win rates are kind of decent indicators. And if, like, I'm not saying like, you don't go like, oh, someone's 51% win rate, nerf them now, right? Like, I'm not saying you do that, right? But when like you are the most picked mid laner, I didn't see Twisted Fate, did I? Nope, he is not. We are not seeing Twisted Fate at all. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm like getting ahead of myself. Okay. Anyway, Mantra. Soul Flare damage is going up by 5 at rank 1, likely to because the AP is going down from 70 to 50%. So they just want it to be equal at rank 1. But then at rank 4, that's when she gets level 16, the damage is going down by 40 and the AP ratio is going down by 50%. So her RQ explosive damage is going down, but she will still be poking indefinitely, and her RQ Giga Hit will still be there, and it will still be proccing Malignance, and you'll still be losing half her HP. Great champion. God, I love her. She's so good for game health. Lula's preferred items became much nicer in the new seasonal update, allowing her access to health on every slot and strong Omnivamp that works well with her kit. We like that Lula is generally tankier than before, as it helps her stand out from other AP users. So we'll be reducing her her inevitable late game damage while leaving her durability intact. Cool. Maximum health damage AP ratio is going down on her passive, so her passive percent health damage will be lower later in the game, and her Q damage is going down in AP ratio as well. Like, I get it, but man, her Q only having a 70% AP ratio is like her main nuke. Feels kind of weird and janky to me. Normally, like when AP champions don't really have that many damaging abilities, they make the ones that are good like really high damage, or I guess really high AP. Kind of like how Singed is Q has like a 0.8 AP ratio if you touch it, or you know, like Mord's Q is like a 1.1 AP ratio if you isolate it, right? Stuff like that. So it just, man, that is not a high AP ratio is a champion's like only made nuke. But definitely was a bit overtuned right now. Very frustrating champion. Very annoying. Maokai. Okay, so Maokai, I already read through this. It's not that interesting. Basically, what they want Maokai to do, they want him to be more viable top lane again, and they kind of want to push him out of support. They want him to be like support viable, but they don't want him, well, I guess this. They don't want this. They don't want 50% win rate Giga Maokai support. He is extraordinarily overpowered right now, and it's shocking. Even with this level of win rate and just generally I auto win the game, even with that in mind, people are still like, nah, I'd rather ban Karma. She's way stronger and more annoying. And it's funny because we haven't even gotten to Janna yet. We haven't gotten to the Freak Special overpowered. We have so much stuff to go through. We got Bard to go through. We got Janna to go through. We got Karma, Maokai to go through. I'm not saying that Riot's not doing a lot of work, but I am saying they're not doing a lot of work, which is pretty obvious when you look at how little these patches are doing in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, his base mana regen is down. He regenerates less mana. Oh no, you'll say, oh no, now he's not viable top lane because he can't get his mana back. Oh, shut up, you'll just go biscuits anyway. But look at what we're doing here. So his maximum health heal is being changed a little bit. It's being nerfed in the early game, but later in the game, the health is going from 12% to 12.8%. Yay, Ben's losing the 34 base. Overall, this should equal out at slightly over 4,000 HP. That's a lot of HP you're going to need. So this is probably going to be a nerf on his heal for the majority of the game. I'm going to be blunt. So basically, his passive is nerfed slightly, which, boy, Maokai's passive really is not what it used to be, eh? Man, do you remember when Maokai used to actually be able to out-heal people? I'm just saying I miss it. I miss it, chat. I miss her. I miss her so much. I miss Maokai fighting Zac. Both of them hitting each other. Neither of them taking any damage. The fight lasting a minute and a half. I miss her, chat. I miss old Maokai. Anyway, I think Riot should really look into just buffing Maokai's passive, because like Maokai being nerfed, like his passive being nerfed 900 trillion billion times until like he barely even heals anymore, and instead he's just entirely like a CC chain champion, right? And like sapling and stuff like that. I just think that like it's bad in my opinion, because like I just don't think that like it just pushes him into support and just CC chaining people with like lame combos, when realistically I think Maokai being able to out heal people is fun, right? Like we proved on Zac that it's fun, it's cool. I don't like when I fight Zac, I don't think like, oh man, I hate this game. Oh, I think like, oh dang, I let him get the globules and now he's healing up, right? Like I guess we can't dodge Maokai's passive, right? But you know, with how high damage is these days, you know, you're gonna beat the crap out of him anyway. So I just, for me, I wish they would tone up his passive a little bit, which would also push him more into top lane and push him out of support, because the more he's based on healing, then the more he scales with items, and then like the less he scales with just like press W then Q to give your ADC a free kill. Anyway, the mana cost on his Q is going down from 60 to 40. Then the cooldown at rank 1 is going from 7. Or sorry, at rank 1, the cooldown is going from 8 to 7. This will allow him to Q more often early in the game. It's the same at rank 5, but at rank 1, it's lower. This allows him to Q more, which allows him to peel more. It also reduces the mana cost, which allows him to lane a little bit better. Unfortunately, his E cooldown is going from 14 to 16 to 12. Then the mana cost is going up at rank 1 by 15 mana, but down at rank 3 by 5 mana. Then his R cooldown is going up at rank 1 and down at rank 3. What does this mean in totality? Well, I'm going to be blunt with you. It looks like maxing Q is still off the table. Looks like maxing his sapling toss is going to be on the table. And I feel like this doesn't really help him out top lane nearly as much as he would need to be helped out top lane. I think Riot should legitimately consider making his passive just bigger at this point. And they nerfed his mana regen, and then they reduced his Q mana cost, but then they increased his E mana cost, which, boy, I don't really think that that's going to help him out that much, does it? And then in particular, I think that gets pretty bad, because when you think about it, right, it's not like top lane Maokai doesn't use saplings. He needs to keep the brush with saplings in them so that people can't just like if I'm fighting Jax and I'm playing Maokai, I have to keep saplings in the brush, because if there's no saplings in the brush, then he just jumps on me and he just continuously attacks me. If there's saplings in the brush, then every time I cue him away and I walk into the brush, he can't chase me, or he's about to take a huge nuke into a second huge nuke after I put another sapling down there. And then, you know, eating like, what's that, probably like 300 magic damage through eating 2 saplings, then he's gonna be sitting there like, that didn't feel good. But if the saplings are now 60 mana each, and I have to continuously toss them into the brush, it doesn't matter that my Q is less mana, like my mana is just being devoured. The R changes, whatever. Nidalee. Okay, Nidalee. Her magic resistance growth is going up. Then her heal is being buffed really hard, in fact. Her heal is going up by 15 to 55. Wow. And then the AP ratio on her heal is also going up. Then the attack speed on her heal is going up. That's a lot of heal buff. Okay, so her heal is right now it's 180 plus 65% HP if you're at low. Now it's 300 plus 70% AP. Sorry. No, I did those numbers wrong. It's right now it's 180 with 55% AP. It's being changed to be 300 with 70% AP. So 15% more AP and 110 more healing if you're at low for Nidalee heal. These are rather significant buffs. Do these matter? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I don't know anything about jungle. Certainly, I don't know anything about like the jungle meta right now. The meta right now seems B it seems to be like pick Graves, build lethality, one shot everyone. Is Graves picked? Pick Kha'Zix, build lethality, one shot everyone. That's it. That's a meta for me at least, right? What is the other champions? I guess Lua and Brand are also good. Oh, Lee Sin, of course, always Lee Sin. Is is Graves not being nerfed? Because, like, they're nerfing the hell out of Aatrox's items, right? But, like, Brand, nothing? Sorry, Graves, nothing. Okay. Pike is getting buffed. Base armor up by 2. Okay. His Q is getting a higher AD ratio from a 60% bonus AD to a 75% bonus AD. I would be blunt with the way Riot has absolutely massacred Pike's mid lane. I think realistically they can. I feel like they can play this a little bit less safe. Let's put it that way. They're playing this so safe with. Well, whatever. I mean, it's not like he's even that bad. Riot always talks about Pike like he's absolutely useless. And then, like, you look at his win rate and he's just sitting there top 10, 50% win rate. Like, he's useless. No one can play him. He's dead in the water. He's a useless pick. And then, like, you look at his win rate and he's just sitting there like, hi. Right? It's like, he's dead. He's just sitting there, hi. He got murdered. Pike's sitting there, hi. Like, dude's fine. Shit, if Pike is underpowered, what does that make Nami? The most useless champion in the game? Okay, so more damage on his Q, less mana cost on his Q, at least at the early ranks, way more movement speed on his W, and his E is also getting some base damage. A lot of base damage, in fact, like a lot. 5 less damage at rank 1. But 35 more damage at rank 5. So more movement speed, more damage, and, you guessed it, more damage. Rengar. Rengar's damage is too high when snowballing. Everyone's damage is too high right now, man. Profane Hydra is the most excessively broken item I've seen in a while. I'm going to be blunt with you. Dude, when I build Profane Hydra, I've literally killed opposing champions in the jankiest ways where I actually think to myself, like, holy shit, they're actually dead? Like, there's multiple times I've been, like, getting stun locked, and between the stuns, I, like, hit a Q on Aatrox, hit a second Q, Profane Hydra, and they're just dead. And I'm like, what? Yeah, let's just say every lethality champion right now is going a little bit crazy. They have aggressively tuned those items. Yes. Okay, so Rengar's base health is down by 30, making him a bit more burstable, which is probably good considering he has a full heal on every W, which is very frustrating. Then the bonus AD ratio on his Q is going down. Instead of 0 to 20%, it will be 0 to 15%, which is good. Then the empowered damage on his Q is going from 40% down to 30%, which is also, you guessed it, good. These are all good changes of good balance. Okay. Shaco. Big changes going on here for Shaco. Mana regeneration, growth, nerf. But Jack in the Box mana cost at rank 2 plus going down. Instead of 70 flat, 70 to 50. That is less mana. Bonus damage to monsters going up. 20 at rank 1, so 10 more at rank 1 and 30 more at rank 5. That's pretty good. Shaco's Jack in the Boxes are no longer one shot by grubs. But why were they one shot by grubs? That feels weird. Could the champion even be viable if he was getting one shot by grubs? Huh. Okay. E mana cost up. That's odd. Huh? Okay. R hallucinate. Poof. Shaco's clone now creates an orange poof when it snaps back to Shaco or teleports for any reason. Shaco's clone duration is now displayed on the HUD. Shaco's clone no longer loses its auto attack when casting spells. Well, that would probably have been very frustrating. You like cast an E and Shaco's clone stops attacking and you're just like, ugh. Somehow Shaco's clone duration being displayed on the HUD, somehow, I just know it, Like, this means that if Aatrox builds Sundered Sky, I can see the clone duration and then I know what clone it is. Like, there's going to be some weird bug like that. I don't know. It'll be like if Shyvana builds a death cap, she can see it. It'll be like if Karma hits him with a W, his lifespan is displayed to her. I don't even know. Shyvana. Okay, so they're trying to push Shyvana here again. I don't know why, but AP Shyvana is getting pushed. Instead of a 35% AP ratio on her Q, it is now a 50% AP ratio on her Q. Although that seems odd to me. Yes. Okay, so the total AP ratio. Okay. So the total AP ratio right now is 60. It's being buffed by 15. So the total AP ratio on her Q will now be 75%. Now that is AP into physical damage, which is like the worst thing you can do. You don't want to be physical damage. That's the worst damage type in the game. The bonus attack speed is going from 40 to 60 to 50 to 70. Pretty good. Then the AP ratio on her bonus movement speed is going from 0.8% to 0.12%. Boy, that's going to be fun. So how much would that be at a mere 500 AP? Let's math it out. I mean, I could obviously math it out in my head, but I'm going to do it for you guys. 60%. Wow, that's 110% movement speed in her W with 500 AP. That's a lot. Isn't Hecarim supposed to be the fastest champion? I feel like Hecarim has just been power creeps completely off the planet when it comes down to being Speedy Boy. Talia. Okay, so Talia's base damage and her Q is going up more at the early ranks, but also a tiny little bit at the later ranks. Then her E cooldown is going down from 16 to 14 to 14 flat. This is great because I hated it when long range mages had any downtime and I could actually fight back. Okay. Teemo Q blind should now immediately apply to targets hit by Q, preventing Teemo from taking damage from an auto attack after the blind has been applied. Blind duration should now also be consistent with the debuff duration above the target's health bar. Does that mean if he blinds someone with an attack in the air, it blinds the attack in the air? Because I've seen this exact bug fix a lot over the years. Like, I've seen this happen a lot. Like, where they try to make it so if someone is attacking Teemo and then they get blinded, that like the blind will affect the attack that's already happening. I'm just wondering, will this now affect attacks that are in the air? Because I'm pretty sure it already affects attacks that are started, just not attacks that like Misfortune shoots him, then he blinds her. Like the attack should, I can't really tell what it does. So okay. Trundle, base health down by 36. That's a good bit of base health nerf. Then his Q damage down by 10. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. I had like too much coffee earlier and I'm like yawning. I'm not really even tired, I'm just yawning. So his base health is down by 36 and his damage on Q is down by 10. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the problem with Trundle is more so the lower ranks than the higher ranks. So I don't think nerfing his laning phase is the way to go. I think if anything, there should be like a modifier where his Q doesn't get the bonus damage on turrets. Something like that. I know it's like funny, like haha, funny split push man, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't make for the greatest gameplay that you leave Trundle alone for 2 seconds and he's taking your Nexus. And he's so goddamn overpowered right now anyway. I literally think just make his Q not do bonus damage to turrets. Like, it's still an auto attack and it still procs Trinity. Just make it not do bonus damage to turrets. But between these two buffs, or sorry, between these two nerfs, he's probably not going to be viable at the high ranks anymore. That's my opinion. Probably definitely not viable at the high ranks anymore. At the low ranks, he'll probably still be the same because I'm going to be honest. Like, nerfing his Q by 10, his health by 36, like that's not going to affect the low ranks. They always get late game for free because that's just how they are. Okay, Twitch. E, contaminate, quality life change. If Twitch uses his E at the same time his poison expires on an enemy, they will now take damage based on the number of stacks they had when the poison expired. This should result in the E cast being slightly more forgiving. Certainly sounds annoying, but I'm not sure everyone needs to have every ability work perfectly, I guess is the way to put it. Like, if the poison expires as he uses it, should he really get grace time? Probably not. That's just my opinion. I mean, I guess that might be hypocritical because Darius gets his ult to reset if they die right as he hits him with his ult. Like, if Darius hits an enemy with his ult and they end up at 2 HP and then the bleed immediately ticks him and kills him, like, you know, 1 frame later, he still gets the ult reset. But maybe he shouldn't, and maybe Twitch shouldn't be able to use contaminate, right? Like, maybe sometimes if you mess up, you just mess up, right? Oh well. Wukongi Kongi Kongi Kong. Okay, so Wukong is getting way more damage on his early Q rank. Well, it's early Q rank. So basically, the bonus range on his Q was 75 to 175. It's now going to be 135 to 175. So at level 1, that's 60 more range on his Q. Then the bonus AD ratio is going from 45% to 55%. So Wukong will scale a little more, and he will EQ, RQ, RQ way better. Okay. Then his E cooldown is going from 10 to 8 to 10 to 7. This gives him more mobility, and it also gives him more reason to actually max out his E. Between the two of these, he should be buffed, I guess. I'm not really sure it's going to change. I mean, it gives him more things to do in the laning phase to poke with Qs, I guess, which gives him more, like, gameplay. I don't know. Yorick, oh boy. Okay, this Yorick change is actually... I gotta read this because this is, like, Yorick's mini rework. And this actually does look pretty good, so I'll have to see. Let's read their reasoning here. With a bunch of new items to play with, we thought that now would be a good time to revitalize Yorick's classic bruiser builds, which should ultimately give him more durability to act as a frontliner for his team. I don't think Yorick is ever going to be a frontliner, but I do think he could be like a trapper, I guess. Like, he's never going to be a Nautilus or like a Maokai or anything like that. Like, Yorick will never build, and he's never going to act as a champion who can walk up and take damage. You know, he's not Braum, he's not Kosante. I mean, he's not even Malphite, right? While we're at it, we also wanted to take the opportunity to smooth out his playing experience with minor adjustments to his summons. Okay, so let's read through here. From what I remember, they did a lot of different iterations on this. Like, every day in the PBE, they were iterating new stuff, so I kind of stopped tracking it. Okay. Passive, Shepherd of Souls. Summon leash range 2000 to 1600. New, return speed. Yorick summons now gain bonus movement speed when returning to Yorick. This movement speed bonus is based on the distance between Yorick and the summon. So there was something on the PBE. You know, I'm not going to mention it. Maybe I'll do a video on Yorick later. But there was some changes on the PBE that made this rather interesting. But to be honest, Kitty, you're such a brat. Look at her face. You know, whenever I pet her, she's like, yes, I deserve this. I had this coming. I am such a good cat. Everything good that happens to me is because I'm so perfect. It makes me not even want to pet you, Kitty. Anyway, yeah, there was some stuff on the PBE, but I don't know what actually went live or not. Again, they did a lot of iterations, and if they're not mentioning the interesting thing that this did, then they're probably not keeping it in, but I don't know. Last rites. The heal is now gone and replaced with a better heal. I got you going there for a second, didn't I? The heal, instead of being a flat amount, boo, is now 4 to 8%. Wait, oh my god. Wait, it's now 10 to 68 and 4 to 8% missing HP halved versus non-champions. And the mana cost is going down from 25 to 20. Wait, so he just gets 10 to 68 healing for free, then also gets 4 to 8% missing HP. That's wild. It's not like broken or anything. These are perfectly reasonable numbers, right? It's just like, dang. Yorick actually being able to heal with his Q. That's crazy. But the numbers, again, the numbers aren't that aggressive. I think Riot could have been a bit more aggressive here. You know me, right? Like, when it comes to healing, I'm always like, dude, kick that up a notch. Especially on abilities like Yorick's Q, which are like on a longer cooldown, so they're like more controllable, so to speak. Like York isn't going to be sitting here just going Q, 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 right? So it does make sense that it would be a higher number. You know, I mean, 4 to 8% missing HP is fine, but like, let's keep this in perspective. That means at rank 1, he heals for 2% of his health if he's at half, right? 1% of his health if it's on a minion. And it means at rank 5, he heals for 4% of his health if he's at half. Like, if he has 3,000 HP, we're talking he's going to heal 120. So, like, don't think these numbers are, like, crazy or anything, right? So that's what I'm saying. I would have been a bit more aggressive here. I would have gone a little bit crazier with it, okay? I would have made this a bit spicier. But the mana cost being down is good, and then him getting actual healing that scales on health is also good. His E cast time is going down from 0.33 to a 0.25, so that's probably good. I think his E is kind of dodgeable as is, but yeah, I mean, it was weird how it had a longer cast time, which then meant that a lot of like Yorick's gameplay was hoping that his opponents would like either continue to move in the direction they were moving or, you know, not dodge it. Like once it actually came out, you know, you could still dodge it anyway. It just kind of sucked that like a lot of times when you're playing Yorick, you'd just be like, oh, they moved. Well, oh well. Okay. Now Yorick's ultimate is having its effect changed completely. Okay. Yorick's ultimate, the bonus damage because like Yorick's ultimate, it marks a target, and then when you hit a marked target, it does damage, right? That cooldown is being removed entirely, and then instead of doing 3 to 9% magic damage, it's now doing 2 to 3% health magic damage, but the cooldown is removed. This seems like a very large nerf, I won't lie to you. But okay. It does seem like they're trying to push him really hard into going Trinity and using the attack speed to like chain proc it. I get it. I just think that Yorick's gameplay, he's obviously a more simple champion, right? Like he's one of them simple folk. For some reason, Riot is this boner for making Juggernauts really simple. Despite the fact that when you make them interesting and cool, like Aatrox, lots of people play them. In fact, everyone plays them and everyone loves them. So, okay. Zeri's getting buffed. Base AD up by 3. Then her ultimate cooldown down from 100 to 70 to 80 to 70. What does this mean? Zeri is now pick ban in pro play. Welcome to Zeri nerfs coming. I don't even know. I just think maybe 2 weeks. No, that's too short. 4 to 6 weeks from now, Zeri nerfs. I don't even know. Will this make her overpowered? I don't know. It's just Zeri's getting buffed, so Zeri will get nerfed. That's just how she is. Great champion design. Wonderful. Ziggs. Okay, Ziggs base armor up by 3. His armor growth up by 0.2. And his satchel charge from 24 to 12 down to 20 to 12. So Ziggs tankier. Ziggs particularly tankier against physical damage. Ziggs also more mobile. Okay. Zyra, base mana regen from 13 to 7. She had 13? My god. Mana regeneration growth up from 0.4 to 0.8. Mana cost on her Q from 70 down to 55. When she kills a minion or monster, she now gets 35% seed charge progression instead of 20%. Basically they're trying to give her less mana regen but lower mana costs, so when you don't have an item that gives you % mana regen, you can still use your abilities. And then they're also just making her able to mid lane a bit better, looks like. On to items. Essence Reaver up in damage. This was one of the more built items that a lot of AD carries liked building, so it's getting buffed. Why? Screw you, don't ask questions. Genso's Rage Blade is getting buffed. Why? Well, I just said it. Screw you. Don't ask questions. So Essence Reaver is getting 5 more damage. Rage Blade's getting 5 more damage and 5 more ability haste. Sorry, ability power. 5 more. Let me try this again. 5 more attack damage. 5 more ability power. There we go. Words. Oh, I love this Hullbreaker tooltip. Let me read this out loud. We have a bug fix to Hullbreaker this patch, which should restore a key part of the item's power that was previously missing. They're bug fixing it. Fixed a bug that caused the Hullbreaker buff to minions to unintentionally fall off when an allied champion is nearby. Bug fix. Ah, yes. It was clearly bugged, guys. It was always meant to continue to buff cannon minions when allies were nearby. It was always meant to buff the cannon minion, even if an allied champion was nearby. It was just a bug. 2 years, it was bugged. Wink, wink, wink. I know, even Kitty's like, are you serious? Why can't they just call it a buff? Why are they calling it a bug fix? What is wrong with these people? I know, Kitty. I don't know. I don't know, Kitty. I don't know what's wrong with them. Kanik Ruckern is getting nerfed because there was a good MR item in the game, which is terrible. Kanik Ruckern has become the premier magic resistance item, overshadowing other options like Spirit Visage and Forge to Nature. Because they suck. Oh boy, now that I'm dead, I get more movement speed of nature. And who gives a shit about healing and shielding? Of Spirit Visage. I don't know, man. So the magic shield strength is going from 20% to 18%. The shield refresh cooldown is going from 12 to 15. All considered, not really that bad. I just find it staggeringly stupid that they're trying to balance magic resist items on the 2 items literally nobody will ever build. Now look, if Spirit Visage went to like 15 ability haste and 500 HP, I think Spirit Visage would be a great item and everyone would build it. But no one does because it sucks. If Force of Nature got like 60, 70 base magic resist and you could actually live through those first hits to get it procced, it might be good. But it doesn't because it sucks. These items aren't being overshadowed. They just suck. Even with this nerf, guys, I promise you, math it out in your head. You will need, let me think here. You will need to heal and shield 72% of your health for Kanik Ruckern to be outperformed by Spirit Visage. Let me say that again. You will need to heal or shield 72% of your health for the Kanik Ruckern shield to be outperformed by Spirit Visage. This is ignoring that it also has more magic resist than Spirit Visage. Okay? I hope you understand, Spirit Visage is not a good item. It has not been good in like 4 years now. Spirit Visage needs to actually give stats because it is not a good item. Healing and shielding power, like I promise you, if you actually math it out and you actually look at it, you do not heal and shield as much as you think you do. If you healed half your life bar, that means Spirit Visage gave you 12.5% more health. It's really not that much. Rod of Ages is getting buffed because it was already a good item that most champions were going. I shouldn't say most, I should say a lot. Okay, so the health is going up and the mana is going up. Okay. The Collector is getting nerfed. Wow, shocker. Who knew that buffing the Collector, then buffing it again because you buffed it, might actually be a buff? That's crazy. Yomu's Ghostblade is being nerfed on ranged champions. Are you telling me movement speed is better on ranged champions? That's crazy. That's crazy. AP item and proc damage changes. Okay, so basically all burst items are getting a bit of a nerfy nerf. Okay. All these burst items are getting toned down. Some of them are just straight toned down, some of them are side grades. Okay. Wait, what? What? This is the weirdest list ever. AP item. Okay, we're toning down AP. Okay, so we're turning down proc damage. Also, we're buffing archangels. What? Why did they list it like that? That's such a weird way to do it. What? Okay. Archangels is getting buffed. It's 100 less gold. Cool. I don't know why we're nerfing all these burst items and then we're buffing Archangels. What just happened? What the heck? That was weird. Why did it go there? I didn't click anything. Right, screwing me again. Okay. Echoes of Helia. The damage per shard is going down, but the heal per shard is going way up. So hopefully supports heal more and do less damage, which is, you know, kind of what they're supposed to be doing. I'm not sure why Riot is kind of attached on to this supports are secretly a second mage meme. Like, let me try to explain this to you guys. It's not that I want supports to not be fun. It's that if supports start doing damage, then it double whammies the game. Because let's say I have a support and they shield and they heal and they CC, right? And then instead of doing that, now they're doing damage and CCing. All that healing and shielding is gone, and they're now doing damage. That considerably increases the damage in the game, because you go from 4 damage champions and 1 champion removing damage, so 3 damage champions, to 4 damage champions, and now the support is a damage, so 5 damage champions. Do you understand the problem here? Like, the damage in the game goes up by like 50% when supports start doing damage instead of being primarily focused on, you know, supporting. Okay. Hextech Alternator, the damage is going from 50 to 125 to 765. That's crazy. You're telling me Hextech Alternator was overpowered when you giga buffed it and made it the most overpowered freaking component in the game? That's crazy. Hextech Rocket Belt, damage is going down from 125 to 100, from 15% AP to 10. Okay. Kraken Slayer is being gurfed. I don't even know what you call a change like this. Basically, the damage will now be flat on hit, non-scaling. 140 to 310 flat, based on your level. That's it. The total AD ratio is gone. That's it. No more AD ratio, just flat damage. It's kind of weird. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's kind of weird. I'm not sure I would have done this change. It kind of sucks when an item just does not scale, but okay. Lich Bane is being nerfed. Wow, you double buffed one of the items in the game. That was already good, and then it became overpowered. That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Insane. So Lich Bane's going from 100% base AD to 75% base AD. Wow, the single best and highest burst item in the game was overpowered this whole time. Who knew except me, who continued to say it over and over and over and over. In fact, it's still probably overpowered because you double buffed it when it was already good during the... Imagine like you want to lower the damage of items, and so you lowered the damage of all other items and stuff, right? But then Lich Bane gets buffed twice on the very patch that all other items get nerfed, and then it became overpowered. That's crazy. Luden's Companion, total cost down, ability power up, fire damage down. So Luden's Companion will have slightly more AP and be slightly cheaper, but the AP ratio on its like proc is going down. Malignance, total cost down, but the AP ratio on its damage per second is going down, not that much, and the magic resist shred is going down at the later levels. I feel like this might almost be a buff to the item, because the nerfs barely do anything until late game, and in return you're getting it 100 gold cheaper. Profane Hydra, one of those broken items in the game right now. Seriously, this item is absolutely nutty. The active damage against targets below 50% health is going from 150% to 130%. See, guys, earlier when I told you like that the Aatrox nerfs were coming, because I noticed when I was looking at all the stats, I knew some guy was going to go down in the comments and be like, dear, I don't even know, dear dumbass, you say you like balance, but you don't want Aatrox to be nerfed? Curious. Well, yeah, I mean, Profane Hydra is getting nerfed. And Profane Hydra is Aatrox's best item. And because Aatrox had 10 globules of HP, or sorry, of AD, going from 150% to 130% is actually a fairly significant nerf. That means an Aatrox and an Ultimate with 500 AD is now doing 100 less damage with Profane Hydra, which does matter. Is it killing the item? No. Is it nerfing him? Yeah, for sure it is. But Hashinshin, that's only one of the items Aatrox goes. Stay tuned. Static Shiv is getting its total cost down by 300. That's right. 300 less gold for Static Shiv, but the electroshock damage is going from 100 to 180 to just 90 flat. So it's damage to champions, by the way. In other words, Static Shiv will now just be a cheap wave clear item that does not do anything other than wave clear. Wow, that's crazy. I'm not even doing the bit right now. That's crazy. You're telling me Static Shiv is hard to balance and is best when it's just a really cheap item that gives wave clear? That's crazy. But you're telling me that's exactly what the item was designed for? That's crazy, freak. Because the thing is, like, freak, I know you played the game. I know you played the game when that's what they did with Static Shiv. And I know you brought it back. And I know you were like, this could be a scaling item. I know it can. And wow, look at that. Static Shiv is just once again a cheap wave clear item for champions like Vayne. That's crazy. Storm Razor is getting nerfed, buffed. So the bolt damage is going from 90 plus 25% total AD to 100 flat. So pretty, I'm going to call that a ka-chunk less of damage. But the movement speed is going from 1 to 1.5. Less burst, more movement speed. Storm Surge is getting its squall damage nerfed. Instead of 100 to 120, it's going to 140 flat. So 60 less at level 18. But then the ability power is going from 90 to 95. So more ability power and less damage on the proc. Oh wow, Sundered Sky is getting changed. Remember when I said both of Aatrox's good items would be changed? That's crazy. I was right. That's crazy. I'm gonna keep doing this bit. I'm a funny guy. You might, anyone who knows what I just watched recently knows what I'm doing. Anyway, Sundered Sky, damage down by 10, health up by 150. This actually makes the item slightly more gold efficient, I believe. I just want to look up its gold efficiency right now. I don't remember it being too crazy. Yeah, it's like 112%. So this barely does anything. It's going up 100 gold of efficiency. So we're talking like, yeah, it's gonna be like 120%. It's still way within line. But I think the big deal is what Riot wants is for it to do less burst. Like they want it to still be at the balance level that it's at. They just don't want the idea I have in mind, or the thought I have here. Riot doesn't want people going Sundered Sky as like a damage item. They want people going it as a survivability item. So they don't want, for example, Aatrox going first item Sundered Sky, then using its crit to kill people, right? They want you going it as a first item, then just generally being really tanky and hard to kill, right? So by increasing its HP and reducing its damage, A, it synergizes less with other damage items, and B, it synergizes more with staying alive. Now, the problem here is that bruiser builds right now are really not that good, particularly because they just don't have enough damage, and it means that a lot of champions are not going bruiser build. However, more HP on Sundered Sky does open it up with some other items a bit more, I think. And definitely it is going up in gold efficiency, but here's the problem. I think damage is worth more than health, just as a stat. That's just my opinion. Because like 100 health is, sorry, 150 health is really not that much. Like over a course of a fight, 10 damage will probably contribute way more than 150 damage, right? Like, if you die early, sure, but so I think Sundered Sky will stay about power neutral, but I think bruiser builds as a whole will go down in power, because rushing Sundered Sky on a lot of champions, or going second item Sundered Sky and using it like as a burst item, that was how most bruiser builds were functioning. And I think the problem is a lot of people were already leaving bruiser builds, and particularly with this upcoming Titanic Hydra nerf, I think a lot of people will start what's the right way to put it? I think a lot of people will start ditching bruiser builds and going more towards lethality builds even harder than they were already, because you know, you have to kill people to win a game fundamentally. Like, you do. You can't just out heal people until you win, right? If I'm split pushing, sure, I might be unkillable to Ornn, but if Ornn or Kusante or, you know, some of these other champions, if they're not dying to me and they're just slowly outscaling me, you know, that it doesn't do me any good that, aha, I say, aha, you can't kill me though, look at me out heal you. Great, like I need to win the game at some point. So Titanic Hydra is also being changed. It's getting 50 more health, but the active damage is going from 6 and 3% to 4 and 2% of your HP. So is it a fair nerf? It's definitely probably a larger nerf than you're thinking, because once again, 2% less damage, it's 20 per 1,000. So if I had 3,000 HP, that's 60 less damage on the active for 50 more HP. Once again, we're kind of like, I know like the 60 damage will be reduced by armor, but like you can have multiple actives on Titanic, you know, trade, stuff like that. So I think Sundered Sky could maybe be hypothetically opened up into some other builds. Like with 450 HP, I think you could maybe slot it into champions like Darius or Olaf easier, champions already have damage. But the problem is right now with Black Cleaver, again, I keep saying this, with Black Cleaver being so goddamn bad, bruisers who actually need damage builds will likely start ditching bruiser items more and more to go for other builds, because they already are. We're already seeing champions like Kled are just complete lethality now. Like, Kled's not even trying to do Black Cleaver Titanic anymore. He's just bye. So anyway, Rift Herald is getting a change. I need to mention this because none of you guys will know this. Okay. For the first 3 seconds after spawning, Rift Herald is very high maneuverability and will be easier to turn. Every 2 seconds after Herald slowly becomes less maneuverable as its speed increases. So if you misclick on Rift Herald, you can now reposition it really quick over the first 3 seconds. Okay. Player summon Rift Herald trinket spawning has been sped up by 1 second. Okay, so Rift Herald spawns quicker, and you can now maneuver it quicker in the early game in case you misclick, which we all know that you will. Okay, blah 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 blah. Quick play surrender rules have been corrected. Fixed a bug that allowed for runes to be editable in queue. Okay. Fix a bug that caused some chromas to not be displayed in the quick play model. Okay. Fixed a bug that caused Sundered Sky to only affect enemies that were in the same dimension as the player when the item was purchased. Well, I'm on a higher plane of consciousness. Does that make me immune to it? Fixed a bug that caused Briar to apply 2 stacks of her passive with her Q. I guess because it applies on hits. Yeah, because it applies on hits and it itself applies it. Technically, that's not a bug. I always look at this in like Magic the Gathering rules, right? If we were on Magic the Gathering rules, that wouldn't be a bug. If the ability says, I give you a bleed, also I apply on hits, and the bleed isn't on hit, then yes, that should be 2 procs. Using card game rules, this isn't actually a bug. I understand you only wanted to apply 1 bleed, but you can't this isn't a bug. You intended this. Now, did you intentionally do this? No. But this was the intent of the change that you did. This was 100% like by the game rules, this is what should happen, right? Like everybody understands that, right? Like if I have something where like Aatrox's Q says reduces the cooldown of your passive when you hit an enemy, and then my passive says reduces the cooldown of my passive whenever my Q hits an enemy, right? Like both these things will be like reducing the cooldown of my passive, right? So I'm just saying, in fact, that's not even a good example. I'm just trying to say, if it says it applies bleeds and it applies, if it says it applies a bleed and it says it applies on hits and the on hit is a bleed, then it's not a bug. It's not actually a bug that it gets applied twice. I'm just trying to say that. Okay. Caitlyn can no longer double headshot with Titanic Hydra. It seems to be the only real bug I'm seeing through here. Okay. New skins. Heaven Scale Lee Sin. Dude, that's crazy. Asian looking skin line. Okay. Does it look good? I like the claws, but I'll be honest, dude. I'm having like withdrawal right now. Not withdrawal. What's the other word? Overexposure. There's just been so many generic-y Asian skin lines that I'm just like, oh wow, it's Spirit Blossom Yone. Is this Yone? No, it's Lee Sin. What the fuck? Gee, how come your mom lets you get 2 skins in a row? Heaven Scale Master Yi. I'm getting serious goddamn deja vu because I'm just starting to feel like I've seen this before. It's not even wowing me because I'm just like, yep, I've seen this before. This looks like a Baldur's Gate 3 character. This looks like if you're on the Baldur's Gate 3 subreddit and someone was posting like the waifu they made, that's what this is looking like. Also, it's like extraordinarily sexual. It's like off-putting, actually. Normally, I mean, the poses have been sexual in the past, but this one is just like, huh. Okay. Heaven Scale Ezreal. I mean, I haven't seen an Ezreal skin like this before. I'll give him that. This at least looks, but it doesn't really look like Ezreal, does it? If I told you, you know, if I asked what champion is this? If I had to guess what champion this was and I was just looking, I would say Kayn? Maybe? Okay. Heaven Scale Kaisa. Dead honest, I would have guessed Sivir. Really? I feel like I've seen a Kaisa skin like this before. Am I going crazy? Because they keep giving the same skins to the same champions, right? Like you know what I mean? It's like because they keep giving these Asian skins to the same champions every year. Every year it's like Kaisa, Ezreal, Master Yi, Lee Sin. They keep getting the same champions, getting the same type of skins, that it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, I feel like I've just seen this before. Heaven Scale Diana. Is literally, guys, I'm not trying to be mean. I know every time I look at the skin lines, every time I look at them, I say the same thing, don't I? I'm like, wow, I really just don't like this. But like, you know? Prestige Heaven Scale Ezreal. I swear to God, I'd guess Kayn. I'd guess Kayn. Who is this? Hashinshin? What champion do you think this is? Kayn? I would say Kayn. Yeah, like, you know, he's like, Kayn. Okay, let's look in game. That looks bad. I feel like they chose a really, they must have chosen like a bad screenshot or something. That actually does not look good. I'm not even trying to be mean. That just doesn't look good. Heaven Scale Master Yi. Okay, I do like some of these chromas, actually. These chromas are doing it for me. I do like the look in game. Okay, this does it for me. I like it. Like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10 right here. Is it perfect? Ooh, no, but honestly, ooh, it's really good. I'd call this a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Honestly, in game, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Really, actually cool. A lot of these chromas are really cool. I also like its look, actually, a lot in game. Solid 9 out of 10. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see it too. Solid. Let me. I'll show you these. So I didn't like the Master Yi one. No, I did not. Looks stupid as hell. The Lee Sin one. The Master Yi one looks really good. Really like it. Great chromas. The Janna one, actually really good too. Lots of chromas. I like the redhead. The purple one's really cool too. The pink one's kind of, I mean, it's pink. They got two ones that look exactly the same. The base one also looks pretty good. I mean, they all look good. Heaven's Gale Kaisa. It's not bad, but I'm gonna call it like a low 6, maybe a 5 out of 10. Particularly because, like, I feel like with the Janna one, it's like sexy and cute, but like it's not like, you know, it's obviously like big boobed Asian girl. Like, I mean, we've seen 9 billion Asian MMOs do this, right? But like with the Kaisa one, I feel like the waist is like bizarrely called to. I don't know a better way to describe it. It doesn't even look right. Like, what? It looks weird. Like something's weird's going on here. I don't like it. I don't think the chromas really look that good. I don't think the skin looks that good. I just don't like that skin. Diana. Okay, not as good as the other ones, but unlike the Kaisa one, which I call a 5 or even a 4 out of 10, that sounds like a 7, maybe an 8. Probably like an 8 because it'll have new graphics and stuff. Now I call it like a 7.5. Yeah, I mean these ones are 9s. So like the problem is I wouldn't want to call this one like an 8 because that puts it too close to the other skins. But it is still pretty good. I like the colorations. I like how her jacket is like trim on it in some of these chromas. So that one's pretty good. And we don't get to see Divine Heaven Scale Lee Sin. Okay. Well, that's it for the skins, everybody. So ew. Manageable. This definitely looks like a Baldur's Gate 3 character. Swear to God. I swear this looks like a Baldur's Gate 3 character. I'm not crazy. Do you guys like these videos? Do you guys like these videos every day? Wow, that's incredible. If you guys like these videos and you guys like these videos every day, then what you should do is join Hashinshin's Patreon. What are the benefits of Hashinshin's Patreon? Well, the benefits of Hashinshin's Patreon are I get to have enough money to pay my rent, which is, I think everyone can agree, a good thing. We all like that, don't we? I like that, you like that, we like that. We're all fans of that. At either rate, special thank you to Monica and Stefan Ortman for being these super cultists. At the super fan tier, we have Deep the Heretic and T the Fish. At the Not Cultist Deluxe tier, we have Amzarine, Blazenrock, Christoph Marx, Genny Shellberg, Pancho Rodriguez, Tenshi Kanashisa, Destroy, Sebastian. At the Not Cultist tier, we have Ben G, Creador, Daniel Fiala, Yadgod, Fanaku, Full Yuki, Henson, Hoon Arthur, James Cook, Jordan Panning, Justicier, Calfo Saramar, Kian, Kujubai, Ludwig III, Manuel, Metal M. Morgan, Nathaniel Mingham, Negative KDA, OMG Clover, Oz, PBNJ, Radati, Rev Gen, Scorpion, Suki02, Terra, Uvo Plaja, Vivian, WLC League of Legends, Wolfman, Jan, and Scott Shapiro. Thank you all for joining. And you guys can join too. Special thank you to my YouTube members and, of course, to my Kick subscribers. Thank you, all of you. And as always, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.